Hi,
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
Good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you also.
And Chucky Day, so we got double Chucky moments here.
It sure is Chucky Day, isn't it? Exciting.
I love the dolls in your background there.
Thank you. They're always over my shoulder, it seems.
That is true, I guess. I always notice that on your social media where you always have the dolls behind you.
Yeah, well, he's the real star. People like him a lot, so
Nah, I
I
think you're the
keep him
star too.
around. Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. We're looking forward to this. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
My pleasure.
So how did you get involved with coming back to the Chucky franchise for Curse, Cult, and for TV series?
Well, my friendship with Don had a big part to do with it. We had gotten back in touch, I think a couple years before that. Um, it came about that he had an opportunity to bring Andy back, and he was excited to do that. I was excited to do it. And yeah, it was a phone call that I think we were both happy to have. And yeah, it's been really fun ever since.
Was it easy to fall back into your role of Andy?
Well, falling back into acting in general was challenging for me because I walked away from it for a long time. I guess part of it feels natural to me. So it wasn't like learning an entire new skill, but it was certainly a dusty one that I needed to, you know, put my acting hat back on, which was a challenge. But as far as the character itself, no, Auntie's been a part of my life since as long as I can remember. So it's easy to fall back into his shoes when in many ways, kind of feel like I never came out of them.
And the character of Andy has been through so much since the 1988 and 1990 films, and that must take a toll of playing a character that has so much anxiety and is stressed about the whole Chucky thing. What excites you the most about playing Andy from childhood to adult?
Well, I mean, first of all, I recognize what an incredibly rare opportunity that is. Not that many actors get a chance to do that, to play a character they started when they were a child. Um, so along with that comes a whole bunch of gratitude and appreciation for sure. Um, Chucky didn't scare me when I was a kid. So my trauma of Chucky in my life is, if I have any, it's more just the personal ramifications and consequences of getting, you know, quasi famous at a very early age. But you know, I didn't really have Andy's experience at all, so luckily, I don't really have years worth of built up PTSD and trauma regarding this doll. Um, but having it been in my life for as long as it has, it was made a bit easier, I suppose, to tap into those feelings.
And did you ever expect to have so much love from the fans when you returned to the franchise?
I hoped for it, of course. I mean, I know that they always loved Andy when I was a kid, so I certainly hoped that they would be excited about it, and I think the majority have been. Um, but no, I never really have expectations when it comes to this franchise. With Curse, I didn't expect for that to happen. I was thrilled that it did. When Cult came, I was hoping it would happen. TV series, I could say the same thing. I had hopes, I had doubts and worries that it would never happen. Not just in how that affects me in my life, but I know it's what Don wanted to do, and I know what the fans would love it. So there's always obstacles with that. So you can't really expect anything in this business, but you could certainly hope for it.
And with the TV show, it's such a popular show on television right now, and it probably ranks the number one out of all the Chucky movies that have been on in the theaters and on DVD and all that. But there's something that's different about the TV show that I never got understood as a fan because it's so different to see a movie transition to a television series. what was that like to switch over? Like, how did you prepare for the production of the show and encounter the popularity of the series becoming a hit?
Well, my experience of making it isn't all that different from making one of the films. The experience of watching it on television week to week and, really feeling the excitement and energy from our very dedicated fan base, that's been a ride that I didn't expect or know what it would be like at all. Watching it week to week, like we're in the middle of doing right now. You mentioned today's the Chucky Day. There's a new episode tonight. Um, so yeah, like this these thousands and thousands of people that I've connected with over these years, to see them and to see them be excited and to hear their appreciation and their expression of that appreciation is it's incredibly gratifying. It's exciting. And as a fan of the show, certainly a fan of the work that all these incredibly talented people have done. Uh, I get to enjoy it from that aspect too. The episode tonight, I haven't seen any of it, so it'll be really fun for me to see it. I remember the script. I know things that are happening tonight that I'm very excited to see. But yeah, I wasn't on set for it. I didn't see any of it, so it's going to be really fun.
And earlier you just mentioned that you got to meet like 1,000 people. Are you referring to the conventions that you go to?
Well, I've met hundreds of thousands of people, but yeah, of Chucky fans from conventions. Yeah, I've been doing them since 2003. And I've been in probably 40 states and maybe 7 or 8 countries. So yeah, it's a unique perspective to have, not only met in passing, but engaged and heard stories of and shared stories with so many Chucky fans. It's a it's an incredible thing in my life that I don't take for granted at all.
And that's what I love about going to conventions and sharing my personal story with the guests I meet. I know when we met a couple weeks ago, I have to say that meeting you, Christine, and Teo was like the highlight of my entire time there, and probably the best convention I've been to in the entire time I've been going to Crypticon. I really enjoyed sharing my personal story about how I can relate to these characters and the franchise. Um, and out of all the fan encounters, which of those stories stand out to you?
Uh, there's thousands and thousands of them. I mean, I hear from people that, for one reason or another, they connected to this story, whether it's the obvious one, fear, that it made them afraid, but there's also other things that have made them uh, less anxious, more stable, more accepted, more connected. I mean, so many different emotions that our fan base gets to experience in this connection between the art of this story and their love for the show and for the films. So yeah, just like meeting you at Crypticon, which I agree was a really fun convention. They do a great job. I hadn't done Crypticon Minnesota in a while, so I was very happy to go back and do it. Hopefully, I'll be back sooner than later. And I think they have shows in a couple other cities. So I'm a big fan of Crypticon, and I'm a big fan of a lot of these shows that I've worked with for years. Um, the promoters, in most cases, are huge fans of the genre themselves. So they get the fan experience. And me being a huge fan of so many things in my life, and I mean a really loyal, dedicated, sometimes over the top fan. Uh,
I know what that's like.
yeah, I do too. So, I think it's made me appreciate both sides of the table at conventions a whole hell of a lot.
And I have to say, when we met, I was thrilled. I was really anxious about meeting you. I was so nervous. I thought I was gonna mess something up. But when I gave you the painting I made for you, everything just fell right into place. And I was, was really happy that I got to do that for you and the entire cast. And was really excited when I got your messages after the fact on Instagram. So that just made the whole experience 10 times better.
Well, thank you so much, Belle. And that's really why I'm still in this business. I left acting when I was 12 because uh there were things about the business that I just didn't like, wasn't comfortable with, uh maybe wasn't comfortable with myself for a long time. Um, but that experience of making people happy is it's incredibly fulfilling. It's addicting, to tell the truth. And it makes me feel good about myself that I'm somewhat a part of something that makes people excited and happy and entertained in this life, because life can be very difficult at times,
Yeah.
and there's no better resistance to that than art. Um, so yeah, it makes me very happy that it made your weekend,
You
and
definitely
it
did.
makes me happy that I have we have all of us who do these shows have that impact on people. There's nothing better than making people happy and giving them a chance to express gratitude and appreciation when they have it.
And when the show premiered, I was not expecting the amount of representation for certain things like the autism awareness that the show put on for little Caroline on the show. That just meant the world to me because I know I mentioned that I'm on the spectrum myself, and you don't see a lot of that in movies and TV. So to me, that was very important for me to see, and that's what I love about the show so much is the amount of representation, and also it's such a really great show to watch.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, I think Don is incredibly brilliant in his ability to be inclusive to people, and art imitates life. So I think a lot of the things that he represents in the show is simply very much a mirror of life. And yeah, I'm proud of him and proud of the story and proud of all of us for our willingness to show the world as it is. Especially when you're talking about a killer doll that is possessed by a spirit and comes to life, and all the absurdity attached to that concept. And I say absurdity in a complimentary way, of course, but yeah, showing the reality of life included in that presentation, I think is very important, and it does further connect our audience with our story.
And speaking of the dolls, I keep thinking one of them's gonna come alive at this moment.
Luckily, I don't have that fear.
Well,
I
I don't
wouldn't be
think
able
I
to do
do
this for as
either.
long as I did.
I have a doll at home, and it's actually signed by Don. The studio sent it to me last year
Oh,
for
that's
season
awesome.
one. So I'm like, I freaked out because I totally thought it was gonna come alive.
Well, it probably won't, but stay on your toes and be
Little
be
pet
very
peeve,
careful
I
with that
guess.
doll anyway. Yeah.
I used to think that when I was younger, but it's still a little scary to look at.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. So in the Chucky franchise, films were made about the character of Chucky, like Chucky goes psycho in Seed of Chucky. And do you think Andy has seen any of those movies in the franchise?
It's a good question. Given his obsession over this, I mean, maybe it's obsessed with him more than anything, but uh given that relationship, I'm pretty sure Andy knows all and has seen all, and has probably been down every rabbit hole made available to him when it comes to anything that he can use to try to stop this.
Well, I would you think that there was a movie made about him? Maybe
I don't know, not that I know of. Not that no
that would
one's
be a
ever
little
shared that
awkward.
with me.
That'd be a little awkward. So, when you're on the set of the series, what was it like to work with the cast and being on the set?
It's the best. I mean, we call ourselves, the Chucky family. We all refer to that because we are. Um, I mean, it is a family affair in many, many ways. Obviously, the relationships of the people that are actually related, and then the people that, like Christine and I, that have just been around each other for so long. She's very much my sister. And there's a lot of those little dynamics, but even as a whole, we just have it's something that we all have in common and all experience from different angles, but a similar point of view. So the connection that we have to each other makes working together incredibly rewarding. Yeah, it's not just our time on set, but even the time that we do get out of the studio or off of camera, dinners and such, hanging out with each other. It's basically our favorite thing about doing this. We really genuinely enjoy each other, so that helps a lot.
And is there anyone on the cast that you haven't worked with yet that you would like to work with?
Well, you haven't seen the rest of this season, so I can't answer
Yeah,
that.
that's true. I guess that was not fair for me to ask. um, okay. So no, I guess episode 4 was like a big thing. When we talked about it at the panel at Crypticon, Christine said that it was her favorite episode to film. And I was completely blown away because it's obvious that Kyle knows about Glenn and Glenda. How that happens, we don't know yet. Without reviewing too much, what do you think? How do you think Kyle knows about the twins?
Much like Andy, I think she has somewhat of an obsession over all of this also, and not to the extent of Andy. I don't think I can't totally speak for her character that way, but um, no, I mean, in this particular case where we find Kyle, I think she hasn't reconnected with Andy. She doesn't know if Andy's alive or dead. Um, I'm not sure that they've seen each other since the explosion. I assume they haven't. So yeah, I think her love for her brother and her hatred for Chucky has led her to figuring out a lot of things that are going on obsessively, more than likely not, you know.
And in all the episodes you have been in so far, what was your favorite scene or episode to film?
That scene in the beginning of season 2 was super fun. It was really a lot of fun. Uh, Andy hasn't really been scared of Chucky that much because I think when one-on-one, he feels pretty confident in his ability to take Chucky out at this point. But, having 72 living Chucky dolls coming after him at the same time, along with a very angry gun wielding Tiffany, uh, I think there was a lot more to play with as far as the fear that this character had for a very, very long time. Um, and yeah, so Chucky having the upper edge is fun to play from my perspective.
And that was the first time you were working with Jennifer Tilly and Tiffany, right?
She wasn't there, but yeah, it was just a recording of her voice.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not even know that.
No, yeah. I mean, when the dolls are talking, Brad Dourif isn't there. Tiffany's not there.
Behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
Tiffany. Jennifer's not there. Brad's not there. All that stuff is recorded beforehand, but their voice is there. So it was working with their voice directly. Yeah. So far in this story, well, all the way up until the beginning of this season, Andy and Tiffany have kind of been adjacent to each other, but not exactly connected yet. I mean, Andy almost drove her off the road at the end of last season, and they had a phone call together. But yeah, they haven't exactly gotten any real time together yet. I think they're both looking forward to it, though.
Well, with the season finale right around the corner, hopefully something will happen.
We'll see.
Is there in one or two words, what can viewers expect in the next couple of episodes?
Oh, it's just a crazy ride that gets wild. Um, you gotta expect the unexpected, and it sounds cliche, but that's really what Chucky is. You never really know what you're gonna get, and I certainly don't give any of it away. So
No,
uh
no spoilers.
you could expect quite the ride. I think the back half of last season got really ramped up, and I think people would feel the same about this season too, and things really ramp up.
Well, I definitely look forward to it, and I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today, Alex. It was really fantastic to do this with you.
My pleasure. I hope you really enjoy the episode tonight.
I look forward to it.
Well, thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And when I get this uploaded, I'll send you the link.
Okay, you're putting it up after these episodes, right? Not today?
I can definitely do it afterwards.
I do it after. Hold it till
Yeah,
tomorrow
let's
at least.
do it after, Bill. Thank you so much.
No
All right.
problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Belle.
All right. Have a good one.
Good seeing you again.
Good seeing you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.